You know, it has been said that the digital space is the great equalizer, but I think it can become the greatest disequalizer if you don't have access to connectivity, if you don't have access to affordable connectivity. So our main objective has been to ensure that we get connectivity to every Fijian. So we have, for example, a program at the moment calling the Connect the Unconnected. There has been a particular project in the northern part of Fiji where we're connecting about 40 different locations, schools with Wi-Fi hotspots around, schools where there's a community living around the school, nursing stations, etc. As I said, we have 95% coverage, and the other 5% is what we have brown spots, or we have blackouts, and so we are now looking at satellite connectivity. So I think it's critically important to ensure that every citizen is connected. You have an independent regulator in terms of the pricing. When you have only two or three suppliers of various services and connectivity in the market, that's critically important too. So you have a very transparent process in terms of pricing. The third issue, of course, is in respect of, like the question was posed about connecting to the rest of the world. Well, we're all connected now. So essentially, once you're connected domestically, you have connectivity to the rest of the world. And that connectivity to the rest of the world, of course, is through two means. I mean, currently Fiji at the moment has the advantage of being connected to the Southern Cross cable, which connects essentially Australia to the west coast of North America, and it is submarine cable, and it lands in Fiji. So what we have done, we've invested in that space also in terms of the landing. There's recently Samoa, the UNDP persons from UN persons from Samoa, had through the World Bank funding connecting to the Southern Cross cable in Fiji, the landing in Fiji. So what we did was we took the opportunity to build a pipe out of that to connect to the second largest island, so we have faster speeds. And affordability, of course, is increased. We have also offered, for example, in the budget just announced just about 2 months ago, again, tax incentives for other companies that may want to, run submarine cables. They land in Fiji, various tax holidays. I think offering about 30 to 40-year tax holidays. So those things are critically important in respect of attracting investments, like the Honourable Minister had highlighted that the economies of scale is an issue, so we have to be innovative in respect of attracting those types of service providers. I think in respect of providing or having a right environment to retain people in the ICT sector, I think we are, of course, most small island states, the lure of the bigger cities, metropolitan countries, of course, can be quite overwhelming for some of our young people who may be extremely bright and have wonderful ideas. I think what we've managed to do in the past number of years, of course, is managed to retain them, because of course, even in the civil service, we have an open merit recruitment system, trying to peg our salaries to the market, the private sector. So those things are critically important to be able to retain talent. We, on the other hand, also are encouraging business to come and set up in Fiji too. To set up, for example, innovative hubs. People can come and develop software. We've just recently announced another sort of area working with one of the telecom companies to set up an ICT park, and what we're thinking of providing very cheap accommodation to our young, ICT budding, entrepreneurs. Free space to come and do the innovations for a period of time. Those things are critically important to be able to ensure you retain talent.